Hi guys, welcome back to Bunny Brick Designs. So I've been playing today with some of the beads from my stash. Now I've got this like champagne colored crystals, and I decided I wanted to make a snowflake. So we're gonna bead this together, and I'm gonna actually do some beading in between the spokes here. But I wanted to first show you the first part of this video, because gluing on these little bead caps at the top, it does require that you let the glue dry. So I've let this dry for about an hour, little longer. And so we're going to bead up the rest of these and put on the bead caps. Now these are from Beadalon, and they're 3mm balls for memory wire end caps. These forms are, I don't have the bag anymore, but you can get these. They're also Beadalon. They're memory wire, and they're pretty stiff, so they're not going to bend real easy. And while you can make loops on them, I decided I didn't want to make loops. I wanted to use the full length and just use the bead caps. They do make these bead caps in different sizes, but I'm going to show you how to use them. And I have a few bead caps out. We're probably going to need a few more. And you need to keep these separate from your regular beads, because they only have a half a hole. So if you look at it on the end there, there's no hole to stick out. Now you could do it with a regular bead where you just glued the regular bead on the end, and did it that way as well. If you don't have these special bead caps, I'm thinking a small, 2-3mm bead. You could just stick it on the end there and just glue that. I do like these. I think they work out quite nicely. And yes, this is a little bit loose, and there is some spacing there because we are going to be wrapping that with some gold wire. All right, so to get started, I'm going to take a seed bead. These are 8/0 seed beads in gold. And I don't know what these are. They were just in a mix. I'm assuming they're like 4mm rondelles, bronze pearl beads that I had in my stash. And so I'm just going to bead on the snowflake in the same pattern that I had before. Now this is a great way to use up some beads in your stash, or use up some things. I decided I wanted to make a Christmas ornament, something new for my tree this year. I always like to make at least one ornament new for my tree. Now that one is a different bead. So of course I have these round although that one's kind of small. I think I want a bigger size. I have a few bigger ones that are in here like that. So there's 2. And I don't think I have any more, so let me see if I can dig out some slightly bigger gold spacer beads. So that's 2. There we go. We'll just use those and not these. All right, so I've got my spacer bead. And again, you're trying to make sure that it's as tight as it possibly can be without having, and as you can see, this one, I don't know if I want to use that. I think I'm going to put maybe we'll put an 8/0, because that one, while it did go up at the top, it's too big. Anyways, so I've got my beads on, And now, in order to get the bead to stay, you're going to need some E6000, some kind of super glue, whatever glue you like to use for your jewelry. I've got a little tube of E6000 here, and all you're going to do is you're going to dip the end into the E6000, trying not to get too much onto that bead. Now, I'm just taking a little bit. There's not a ton there. And then you're just going to take one of these bead caps and put it in there, push it on, and then just let it sit for a minute while I put my cap back on. And I'm just going to hold it down for a few seconds. Now you can, if you wanted to, hold this bead up at the top there so that it wouldn't go anywhere. But see, like that, you don't want to push it off. So you want to just make sure those are being held on. And while we've got space, you know, you're going to have plenty of space. And while that's setting, again, if there's not enough glue, like that one didn't have enough glue apparently, or the glue was gummy, so I didn't get enough fresh glue. I just got the gummy glue. You're going to want to make sure, like that, you're going to have a small dollop of glue, because that really needs to sit in there. And again, these are going to take, it's going to take some time to let it set. Now this, if you can't do it, and see that one's all covered in glue now, but that's a regular bead. That's why. And now I've taken all the glue off again. These can be a pain in the butt, just so you know, because they are so tiny. And I did have trouble with it to begin with, the first one. But once these are all glued and they're set up, you won't have a whole lot of problems. You just got to make sure you get the right bead. And you just got to hold it on there like that. So I just pushed that on there. I'm going to push this up and let it sit. Now you can clean that with, you know, with some cleaner later on. Now what you don't want to do, like I did this one a while ago, so it's probably set up. This one is fresh. I don't want to do too much with this. Like, I don't want to have this upside down because it's going to take the weight of all those beads and it'll probably come off. So I'm going to do this side. And then I may do this side over here and then leave these two sides set up for a little bit and then come back and finish it. And then we can finish the rest of it on camera. But again, I mean, it's just very simple. And I've got to find my seed beads here. So seed bead. And the reason why I'm doing seed beads at the beginning is because these are going to set up. And while there's going to be a little bit of a space there, I will show you how to finish that at the end. Because I'm going to do some wire and wrap a little bead on each side. Just so that you don't see that center part. All right, so I am beading. And now the remainder of this that was in this little, it was a mix of some sort that I had. I probably will do some more Christmas jewelry. I don't know if I'll do ornaments because I don't know if I'm going to have enough for another snowflake with this. These beads came out of a stash that I had a bunch of those in different colors, which I did like. All right, and attempt number 2. So again, you've got to be real careful about setting these things down. And again, depending on these wires, they're not exactly, so you got to be careful because they're not exactly 100% the same length. I have noticed that in doing this is they weren't always cut perfect. So you're going to have, some are going to be a little longer and some are going to be a little shorter. Just because, you know, manufacturing, they're not perfect. Now you could probably also do this on your own with your own wires. If you have like thick copper wire or, you know, half hard, full hard, copper wire or, you know, brass wire. You could definitely make your own forms. You could also make forms out of pipe cleaners. And I may show you how to do that with some bigger hold beads in another video, making some pipe cleaner ornaments. Oof. And see, that's what you got to be careful of, because that just started to fall off. And this other side fell off. So I may have to re-glue. I may have to, like I said, I may have to stop and take a break. You may only be able to do 1 or 2 at a time. Get them done, and then do, sorry, I'm trying to bead while I'm talking here. Get one side, get half of it done, let it set up, and then get the other half done so that, yeah, see, and that was what I was afraid of. The first one came off because it didn't stick to the wire. So it did stick, however, the glass bead stuck to the ball. So we're just going to put some more glue in there. I'm going to let those 3 sit, let them sit up for an hour or so, test the strength of it, and then we'll come back, finish up. And I'm probably going to finish these on my own. And then I will be back to do the other half of this once these are set up. Hi guys, I'm back. So I finished putting on my bead caps early this morning, and there is some glue I do need to clean up off of these, but I can do that in a little bit. So these are all glued on, and I did them this morning, so they've only had a couple hours to set up, so I'm going to be very careful. What you're going to need next is some craft wire, 0.4 mil. I believe this is 26 gauge, 28 gauge. And I do want to put something in between some of these. I want to do one set down here and then one set up here. Now, it's going to serve 2 purposes. One, it's going to hold down the beads in case these drops do come off. But 2, it's just going to add a little bit more embellishment in there. I mean, this is gorgeous just as it is. I mean, I could just go with that. But I'm thinking, you know, and I'm debating whether I want to put something down here or if I just want to put something up here and do just something like maybe right underneath this crystal. or right after this guy. I don't know. Because this crystal is quite big. So I think I'm going to start out. I may do the one down here. I don't know. Because I haven't decided, so we're doing this together. If I want to anchor down here with something, and then anchor up here with something, or if I just want to anchor up here, or just down there. I don't know. I was kind of hoping to use these beads, you know, and maybe put something, you know, maybe I could anchor, you know, this guy in here with a couple of seed beads. So what I want to do first is I want to take and work on the design. So I'm going to take 2 seed beads, one of these pretty crystal things, and a couple seed beads onto my wire. Now my wire's still attached to the spool because I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet. So I don't know how much I'm going to need quite yet. So that I kind of like that. I don't know if it would need 2 beads. Well, 2 beads I think would work as long as we get it in the right spot. Maybe 1 bead. Let's try 1 bead. We'll just move that guy. Yeah, see, 1 bead's not going to be enough. It's got to be 2. All right, so I've got 2 beads on there. And now I could string all of these. I could string 6 of them on so I don't have to take it off my wire. I think I'm going to do that just because then I can, you know, just use up the wire as I need it. Maybe. So I'm going to, actually no, I'm going to take, first I'm going to wire this one on and see how it looks. So what we're going to do is we're going to go right between this gold bead here and this crystal. And I am just going to wrap my wire, and you might want a little bit more of a tail than that. We're going to cut off the tail anyways. So I'm just going to take and wrap my wire around once, maybe twice, just to get it started. And we will trim off that end here. And then I'm going to get my beads off the spool here because it's down on the spool. So we're designing this part together. I actually haven't really thought out this part. Again, may or may not like it. So I'm going to wrap around, and actually see, I need it to go up just a hair more. So I'm going to take this guy off and straighten out the wire. I'm going to go right underneath this crystal. Just that way it gives me a little more space to work with here, and there we go. And I'm just going to wrap once. And so I do like the way that looks. And again, it's depending on which side you look at on these beads. All right, so I do like that. So I am going to clip a length of wire. And we are going to do that all the way around. And then we will see what we do for the upper part. I may do some more crystals on the upper part. Just some more of those, just to, and maybe a pearl to make it a little more symmetrical, because those brown pearls, I like them. But just to have just the brown pearls there, kind of, I don't know, it looks like there's, you know, you need something to make it look a little more focal. I really like that. All right, so we're going to continue on with that. I'm going to do one more. So I'm only wrapping once. Now you could, if you were worried about it coming apart, wrap it a second time like that, and then just squish your wire down with the beads. So I just did 2 wraps there. Oopsie. It would help not to throw beads everywhere. And you'll excuse the bunny noises in the background. It's exercise time for Miss Bella, and so she's out running around doing her thing. All right, so there's number 2. And again, because this is wire, you can adjust this however you want. And we are going to, and as you can see, that came off. So I'm gonna have to re-glue that one, and probably this one, because they came off. That's what I was afraid of, is that the glue hadn't totally solidified yet. So I will, after we're done, I will use some, I'll clean it off and then use some super glue to seal those down. I hate super glue, but again, you need to make sure the glue is thoroughly dried on those bead caps, usually 24 hours. I'm trying to get this done for you guys so I can post it. Unfortunately, that means I can't wait the full 24. I like to do these projects on the weekends. All right. And 2 more beads. And we're almost back to our starting point. All right, and so before I finish this off, I am going to trim my end and then just use my pliers to tuck that in so that it is not sticking out anywhere. And there's no sharpness. We will be rewrapping, we will be wrapping over it with this anyways. I'm just squishing that down a little bit. And you could leave it like this. I may do some more up top. I may leave it like this. I'm not sure. I want to see what it looks like. Depending again on how much space we have, I may wrap a wire around and try some things and then ultimately end up not doing it. But again, that's your choice. However you want to do your snowflakes is up to you. I'm just here to provide you with some ideas. Oops, those are not. Where's my seed beads? All right, so now we're just going to wrap this. I did about 3 times. I'm ending on the back side. I'm going to clip there, and I'm just going to tuck in that end again. Make sure there's nothing sticking out. All right, so there is that part of it. And you can adjust these wires however you need to make them look good. I think I am going to try one more And then I will have to put back on glue on my ends here, because this one is coming right off. As you can see, that one's not completely set up. The glue is tacky, but that looks amazing. I love that so far. Depending on which way these go, whether they're the bronze side or the ABE side, I think those are awesome. I may actually do some kind of a bracelet to go with this and be like, hey, for this project, you get a snowflake and a bracelet. So I'm going to grab some more pearl beads, and I'm going to try wiring on and seeing if I like what I would like to do up here. I'm going to find one that looks like it's solid, which this one maybe. And I'm going to wire on, I think, above this crystal here. And again, if you get a longer end than that, actually, I will wrap that backwards. Because I need to go over so that the front side, you always want to make sure that your front side, when you're doing this, you are coming over the top so that this is over the top of your beads. Now, I'm thinking I need more gold. We're going to do some gold 8-0. So I think 2 gold 8-0s. We're going to try this. I may leave it just like it is. And do I want to go down a little lower? I think I want to go down. I think I want to go down a little bit lower. Just because I want the point sticking quite far up. So I'm going to go around right above the crystal. And I'm going to do 2, 3, I think 3 gold beads, because that will get me beyond the crystal. Correct? All right, 3 gold will get me just to the edge of the crystal. We're going to do 5. And then we will do a tiny crystal. I think that looks good. A pearl bead. And that looks like it's almost centered, which is perfect. And then we're going to do another tiny crystal and 5 seed beads. So now what this is going to do is it's just going to provide me with a little more embellishment. I'm going to see what this looks like. And again, remember, sometimes less is more. So 5 is too many there. Is it 5 too many? No, 5's perfect. Because again, we can... And see, that one was coming off. That's the one that's coming off. All right, so do I like that? I'm going to do one more and see if I like it. And then... Okay. 3, 4, 5. All right. Do I like that? I really like that. Yes. That is super sparkly and super fabulous. All right. I'm going to continue on. I'm going to pause you. I'm going to continue on, and I will be right back. All right, guys. So I finished wrapping, and this is what it looks like. I absolutely love this snowflake. It's gorgeous. I think it came out perfectly. I did add some more glue to this one. And again, I do have some glue bits to clean up. But now you're probably wondering, okay, how are you going to hang it? So this was the first side I did. And I know that because I put a special bead at the top. So all I'm going to do to create a little hanger is I'm going to take a bit of the wire that I used to wrap, and I'm going to come up here right below this crystal, and I'm going to wrap it a few times, and then I'm going to wrap it around, just crisscrossing a little bit, and then coming up to the top, I'm going to pinch it together here, and well, maybe not. I'm not liking that because it's going to mess up my bead. So I've done that before on other snowflakes. Let me see if I can take this off and show you with a better piece of wire. All you have to do is create a little loop. And so that's all I'm thinking that I want to do is just create a little loop. So you can do it this way where you just wrap it around a couple of times, come up, and then wrap. And I know this is going to look messy. Ow, messy. That is if you don't stab yourself. So you can do that and then make a little hanger, or you can wrap that. And I think I'm going to just do string because I'm not liking this. Usually I'm using thicker wire when I'm doing this. There we go. Let me try getting a better piece of wire. I know I've done this before. And maybe I just want to do a single loop. Ooh, that is if I don't drop it. So the other option would be to wrap 2, 3, 4, make a loop. So come up, make a loop. And I say that in the sense of you're just making a wire loop and then wrapping back around. Now see, that's what I did before. And then cutting off. And again, you can do this with string. I just don't want, I really just don't want string on this. And this is going to turn. So I'm just tucking in my ends, tightening up here, pushing down, and there you go. Perfect little hanging loop. And again, this loop is adjustable. So if you want to make it more round, you can. But there you go. And you could do it up at the tip. Or you could take and instead of maybe take off one of these beads, make loops on the end. I'll show that, how to do that in another video. Again, you can adjust your spacing, adjust your wires, and I think I want mine more oval. But there you go. A nice hanging snowflake for your Christmas tree. This one's going on my Christmas tree. And I'm going to make a little spiral bracelet with the rest of these beads. And when I say spiral, I mean I'm going to have a bracelet, but I'm going to have beads spiraling over the bracelet. And I will show you that in the next one. So yeah, this is our, and I'm just adjusting here just because I'm going to probably be fiddling with this for hours, and then it's going to go on my Christmas tree once the glue dries. And I will have to make sure that this gets glued down again as well. All right, so that's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.